It's tough for me to envision lay down on your bed and write good poetry.
Right. Exactly.
And I have many students that feel like that's the place of learning. Even in my traditional classroom, they're trying to learn at home, quote unquote, homework, and they're finding it difficult, I think, in part just because of position.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but when I'm supine,
Yeah. I'm sure I'm asleep,
bruising my nose with the heavy book that falls on my face when I fall. Yes. So, exactly. And I like learning.
Yeah. Right.
Those who may not like it as much probably should be helped to as fruitful a position.
Right. Well, this is education, though. Like, this is the whole deal. Is like, your child is not going to just naturally find this sort of amazing eureka space and place and position and curriculum and all. Like, you ought to be intentional about these things, right? And so...
And you brought up comfort, and that's an interesting thing because...
Well, I
don't think discomfort...
No.
Being uncomfortable, right? I think this is an Aristotelian type thing. There's a middle road here.
Yeah.
Where I'm comfortable enough to not be I think the best place for learning is when you're no longer aware of the place. Right? So I had this experience early on in teaching, sharing a little hallway with a kindergarten class. I taught middle school.
Okay.
So in and of itself, just the differences in what we did was... But she was forever fussing about how many of her students had attention problems. And yet, every year we went off to a teacher convention, and all these vendors would just rub their hands when they saw this lady coming.
Right.
Because she was coming with big guns to buy.
Bought it all.
She bought stuff. She had so much stuff on her walls.
Yeah, oh boy.
That in some cases they overlapped. Or she would just, I don't like this one so much anymore. I'd put something right over the top. Literally, sometimes it was 2 or 3 pieces. And at some point she realized she could poke holes in them and put strings and hang them from her false ceiling. So there were like these posters. It was a mobile.
Right.
And I'm not mentioning names or anything. So I'm not even told you where in the world this was.
Right.
But I remember thinking to myself, attention problems. That poor little 5-year-old is sitting in a room going, hey, right. Looking around, trying to see
It's a stimulus issue.
Right. The place was getting in the way.
Yeah.
The place was more fascinating than the teacher-student conversation that should have been going on.
Right.
So I'm not saying bare walls.
Although that is my...
Well,
see, that's pretty much the way I go.
If it's on my wall, it's intentional.
Absolutely.
There's a reason for it there. In some cases, practical. Yeah. I got a few charts and things that it's just easier to reference if I'm teaching history. I've got a map up on the wall because I use it all the time.
Yeah, of course.
But then there is artwork. For years now, I've had Van Gogh's sunflowers on the wall.
Beautiful.
It is, and I'm from Kansas. So when kids, they think that's why it's on my wall.
Okay.
And I love to ask...
hey, that's not a bad
but I love to ask the question, why else would it be up there? And after a while, they realize that there are other reasons. And they think themselves quite clever to come up with them.
Great.
And I consider them quite clever to have given it some thought.
Yeah.
Right? So instead of distraction, it becomes an addition.
Yeah. Okay, good. So that is worth hanging our hats on. Not distractional, but additional.
Yeah.
Right. Synergistic.
And his poem is talking about...
Right.
You want to get to a place where you can hear what is, not be drawn away either by life's stuff or the surroundings that are more interesting than the thing being considered. There's a point, right? In any good moment of learning, you and I often refer to it in Greek as the logos, right? There's this unifying thing, this idea that we're pursuing, and the place should make it possible to pursue it,
Right.
not more difficult to keep my mind on it. And in particular, I think that explains, not again, I don't think I'm going to remove the screen. I can't because of where I teach.
Yeah, right.
But I recognize that the screen offers this single dimension or two dimension
Yeah.
rather than three dimension as he's talking about. The high risk of equating that screen with what they do with a screen when we're not learning.
Entertainment.
And bringing the expectation, if I'm looking at a screen, it should be doing this to me.
Right.
And I'm going to resist it if it tries to teach me something.
Okay, wow, good.